Ha ha! What is up? Awesome dads out there, awesome men in this tribe. Go ahead, I'm gonna give it a couple seconds. Maybe you guys will see this and pop on. I'm gonna give you guys a couple of minutes here, but I'm coming to you hot from my office. And what's up, David? I am really excited bringing in this training. I finally got done putting all my stuff together for you guys, and I'm really excited to bring this to you today because I have been on my own personal journey, and I am someone who truly deeply believes that if you are going to coach someone in something, if you are going to teach something, if you are going to help other people in an area, then you damn sure well better be walking the walk. And I wanted to give you guys so much understanding that I am someone who, by all appearances, I was not someone who was an athlete, was not someone who, totally crushed this growing up, but through discipline, through hard work, through unmitigated action every day, and learning along the way, I've been able to create something that I think is amazing, and I can't wait to share this with you guys. So now that I've given it a couple seconds, type in the box, guys. If you are watching this live, go ahead and hit hashtag live. If you are watching this on the replay, hashtag replay. Drop that in the comments. Make sure that you're doing that, and that way I can follow up with you guys if you have any questions, or just know that you guys are active in the group and I don't cut you out, because this is a group for men who are focused on action, who are focused on changing their lives, okay? And I had made a post earlier in this week talking about, hey, I just finished my final testing, and I had dropped 20 pounds in 30 days without losing any strength or power, without having any sort of negative effect in terms of my performance. And it's not something that a lot of people can do. Now, luckily, from the last 12, 13 years of doing this, I can simplify that process for myself, and I was able to just kind of flip a switch and go. But I wanted to be really honest with you guys, because here's what's going on. I've been dealing with some challenges, some personal challenges, okay? I've been dealing with some hard stuff, and I didn't really realize how it was affecting me. Now, maybe you guys are in the same boat. Maybe you've got some issues going on, with relationships you have, or maybe at work, or, maybe your health just isn't the way you want it, and you're worried about what the future holds, right? You're like worried about that next doctor's physical. And I want to let you know that I have been there too, okay? And I'm still there in some areas, but right now, I took a hard look in the mirror, and I looked at myself and I said, you know what, Kyle, you're dealing with this stuff, but there are certain things in your life that you can control. There are certain things in your life that you can do something about, regardless of what these external circumstances are, seemingly doing to you, right? And so I wanted to just sort of take myself on this journey and prove to myself, and then share with you guys that no matter what's going on in your life, you always have a decision to take control back over your life. And the biggest area of impact that will give you more confidence, that will give you the biggest boost in your ability to believe in yourself again, is that physical area, is your physicality as a man. And I wanted to be able today to come on with you guys and just explain how over the last 30 days, I dropped 20 pounds. I was able to keep all my strength. And in the process, it was pretty simple when I broke it down. So today I just want to share that with you. But before we go any further, I just want to check in real quick. Have you guys ever been on a diet, on a nutrition plan, on a training program, and you worked it and you maybe got some results, but then they didn't last? Have you ever gone down the road of trying to learn a skill, or tried to lift heavy weights, or be someone who could be strong for themselves, and you've hurt yourself? Have you ever gotten results in one area of your health and fitness only to have it seem overwhelming to the point where you lose touch with other parts of your life? Because if any of that is you guys, then I wanted to get you clear right now that it just doesn't have to be that way. That there are some simple shifts you can make to get yourself on track, to getting the body you want, to having the confidence you desire, and being able to be a person of value for yourself first and foremost, so that you can then go out and share that with others as the leader you probably want to be. And I know that if you're anything like me, that, you've struggled with health in the past, you've struggled with, programs that delivered, subpar results, then today I want to obliterate that for you. And step by step, my promise to you is you guys will have the exact recipe you need to walk through to be able for yourself to replicate what I just did in terms of getting 20 pounds of fat off your body, and then also keeping all of your performance in check at the same time, even while eating things like beer, pizza, ice cream, whatever. Those are things that I also indulged in, but was still able to hit this goal. So if that's something you're excited about, then guys, also go ahead, hit in the chat, hashtag awesome, all right? Because it is awesome to be able to live the life you want, to feel fulfilled, to feel unrestricted in both your diet and your physical capacity, and also know that you are showing up with slabs of muscle that make men and women weak in the knees, and you can blast into the boardroom or the bedroom with confidence. Because if that's what you want, that's what I'm going to deliver, all right? So first thing, guys, okay? Now, why, right? Why did I go ahead and do this, right? Well, like I said, I was dealing with some stuff in my life and a couple of problems. Number one, I had some unwanted belly fat. I looked in the mirror one day and I was like, what was once this tight, rock hard body, I just realized because I had been not focusing as hard as I once was, that I had let myself get a little soft around the middle. Go ahead, if that's you, you can comment up. Let me know that I'm not alone. I need friendship as well. All right. Because this all happens. We either focus on our business or we focus on, our relationships or our kids or whatever it might be. And it's like we for a little bit, we take that focus off our health and fitness. Right. And we sort of put it on autopilot. Right. It's like, yeah, maybe I'll go for a run. Yeah, maybe I'll do some push-ups. Yeah, I'll do this. And it's almost like a box we check, versus it being something that we truly have intention with and bring all of our energy and focus to when we are in that activity. If that's you guys, comment below, let me know, okay? Because if that's you, if you're on autopilot, that's got to be a red flag. And I didn't even realize. I slipped into this because, again, I was dealing with some stuff, and it just was one of those things where I didn't realize, hey, I kind of fell off the wagon. And so I went and I did, if you've ever checked out David Goggins, one of the best guys in terms of motivation right now. Go check him out, YouTube David Goggins, but he talks about the accountability mirror, right? And so I used that in my own world as I brought myself to my accountability mirror. And I said, Kyle, look at the results in your life. Look at where you actually are. Don't lie to yourself. Strip away any of the crap that's standing between you and what you want for your life. And where are you right now? Because the truth is, guys, you'll never actually get somewhere without knowing where you are right now. You see, most people are like on a car trip, right? They either know where they're going, but they don't know where they are, or they know where they are, but they don't know where they're going, right? You've got to have both. Without that clarity, you'll never actually be able to set meaningful goals that will pull you emotionally towards them, okay? So that's the first thing I did. I used the accountability mirror. I said, Kyle, where are you really? And as I looked at it, I had some extra belly fat, right? Didn't want that. I also noticed my health was slipping. I wasn't sleeping well. Was foggy in my thinking. I had some, just some weird stuff going on where I actually had to go to the doctor and just get it checked out. Nothing weird, but I was just like, what's going on here, right? Like just low energy. And so I took hard count of that and I realized I don't want that, right? Like this is not at all the type of person I want to be for myself, for my family, for my community, for my country, right? And so I took a hard look. Number two is, again, it was affecting my health, right? The low energy piece is a big one for me. I'm up at 4 usually, get my training in, get my family off to work and school, work all day. I have a very thinking centric job in my 9 to 5. And then I also go at night, play with my son for hours. We go swimming like we did last night. And so there's a lot of energy there. And if I don't have it, I'm not performing at the level I expect myself to. And that creates kind of a gap in my life that doesn't feel good. So I realized, number one, the belly fat thing, yeah, it's aesthetic, but it's also a confidence piece, right? Especially for us guys. Number two, the health piece, right? And the energy piece. I really it was not at the level that I needed it to be that reliable, confident person for my family and for the role I play in my work. And then lastly, my performance. I actually realized some of my numbers were going down. I'm like, what is going on here, right? Like some of my numbers on my squats and just, weights that I lifted in the past that weren't an issue were all of a sudden kind of becoming an issue at some points. And I was like, I don't like that. So I got real clear on what was going on in my life, where I truly was. I took stock and I did not sugarcoat it. And I realized this is not where I want to be. And so I have to do something, okay? Because at the end of the day, guys, number one, I want to be self-reliant. I don't know about you, but I don't want to need for someone else to help me in my life. As a man who stands on his own 2 feet, who can build himself up from nothing, right? I want to be self-reliant in all circumstances. And I don't know if that's true for you, but if you are, keep paying attention. Second thing, confidence, right? If you have a little bit of belly fat, if you don't feel like you can rip your shirt off and walk through any room, that's going to affect you, whether it be in your marriage, your relationships, if you're dating somebody, whether it be even just for your kids, right? Because your kids, they're looking at you, right? And if dad's got a big beer belly, guess what they're going to grow up to probably have? Big beer belly. And then the last piece, like I already talked about, was my energy levels. Like I want to walk into a room and I want people to all of a sudden wonder, what am I on? Right? Not from a level of like ego of like, oh, this guy's amazing, but like, no, like this guy is so full of life, I can't help but be attracted to his energy. That's the kind of energy I want, right? And I don't know about you, but that makes all of life easier. So guys, that's kind of where I was. And so at the end of the day, guys, the real problem, the true depth of my problem is I did not have control. Didn't have control over the area that I should probably have the most control over. Now, I'm kind of exaggerating this a little bit. Now, it's all true, but I want you to understand that for someone who's done this for 13 years, what I have that maybe some of you guys don't is I have the ability to flip a switch, go right back to my expertise and dial up a plan and actually execute on that plan effortlessly, right? Not a lot of people have that ability. But I wasn't clear, so I wasn't able to execute. Does that make sense? So what I did is I got clear. I understood where I was, where I really wanted to be. I wanted to implement that control again, so I knew I could feel self-confident. I could be self-reliant. I could be in control, and now I can move forward again. So that's where my story kind of came from, guys. Now, some of you guys out there, right? How does this affect you? Maybe you're in the same place. Maybe you're concerned about your health long term. Maybe you're concerned about performing, right? Maybe you've got some goals, like it's either running, or maybe you want to do a Spartan race, or maybe you do CrossFit, whatever it might be. Awesome, right? If you guys are not on a plan that's helping you progress day by day, you're probably feeling like you're not winning. And if you feel like you're not winning, you're not going to be more inclined to keep putting in the work, okay? And everything is about being able to put in that work. So right now, guys, if you're out there and you're looking at your health, right, and it's not where you want to be, you have to ask yourself, am I concerned about how this is going to impact my health and the longevity of the life I have? You have to ask yourself, is the health I have today, maybe I don't know where I'm going to be in a week or next month, but am I on a trajectory that 5 years from now, it's going to represent the quality of life that I truly expect for myself, right? Because the truth is, guys, if you don't have a plan for where you want to be in 5 years, you're already there. Do you understand what I mean by that? So you have to understand, how is this going to impact you and your health now and down the road? The second thing is, guys, that most guys don't even think about. Most guys make the mistake of trading time to work on their business or their financial life, whatever it is, to make all this money at the expense of their health. What most men fail to realize is that your health does not exist in a vacuum. Once you hit a certain peak, a certain threshold of where you've lost functionality, let's say you can't squat, let's say you've lost the ability to, scratch your own back, let's say you have that dicky do where you can't see past, your belly, right? And see the dicky, right? The belly sticks out further than the dicky do. Sorry if that offends you, but guys, if that's happening to you, sometimes you can't get back from that. Sometimes you go so far over the edge that you get some horrible thing like cancer or a disease, and now we are on a downward spiral. And God forbid that happens to anybody in here, but it does happen every single day. And what I'm telling you is you have to understand that putting your health on a back burner is the biggest mistake you can make as a man. It's the biggest mistake you can make. You always need to include your physical and your physicality life in everything you do. It improves every other aspect. And if you put it on the back burner, guys, like I said, it doesn't exist in a vacuum. Sometimes you may not get that back, okay? The last thing is, right, if you're putting it on the back burner, if your health isn't, where you want it to be and you don't have a plan for where you want to go, most often it can actually bleed into your relationships. Now, the number one area that I've talked with men who are dads, especially in this group, right, is that you lose the ability to be a model for your children. You lose the ability to be a model for your kids. And you have to start to give your kids other people to look to be the role model for who you should be, right? So, oh yeah, let's go watch this basketball star. Let's go look at this baseball player. Instead of dad stepping up and being the man, right, that he wants his kids to emulate when they grow up. Because your kids will never fail what's that saying? Your kids will always resist what you tell them to do, but they will never fail to model you. okay? So I want you to understand, guys, this, if you do not have control in this area, it's going to impact your health. It's going to impact, of course, your wealth earning ability. I mean, how many days off are you going to take if you get sick over the next 5 years? How's that going to impact your job? How's that going to impact your impeccable reliability? How's that going to impact your earning potential, right? And then beyond that, being that person for your kids, being that person, you know, if you're married, for your wife or for your significant other or whatever, but showing up as this self-reliant, in control, buttoned up dude who has total ownership over his physicality, that's where we really want to be. All right. So how did I do it? Okay. I'm going to break down for you right now, step by step, the 3 areas. Okay. Because most people make the mistake. You see, true health and fitness and physicality and your ability to have everything you want, it's a 3-legged stool, okay? Leg number one, of course, is going to be the foundation of everything we do. It's going to be training, right? You have to be able to train. You've got to train consistently. You've got to know what you're doing. I've done videos on this in the past, you know, on the right ways to train versus the ways in the past that no longer can really serve people, especially if you have limited time, if you have multiple hats you're wearing in terms of who you are and what you're responsible for every day. You've got to have a training program that allows for you to get in, get out, and know that it's going to drive your progress forward, okay? The second leg of that stool, of course, is nutrition. Now, most guys, they want to just hammer the heavy weights. But today I'm going to reveal to you exactly what nutrition looks like for someone who's on the path, okay? For someone who wants to lose 20 pounds in 30 days and have it feel effortless while eating things like beer, ice cream, peanut butter, whatever, right? Because if you don't have the nutrition piece, you see, the training gives your body a reason to change. The nutrition actually provides the ability to change, if that makes sense. So you've got to have both. Now, most people stop there, okay? But there's a third component. There's a third component, and it's mindset and lifestyle, okay? Mindset and lifestyle, they're actually one and the same. We'll just call it mindset, all right? And the most important thing you have to understand about mindset, guys, is it's the thing that keeps you on the path long term. Because if you don't have the mindset long term, you will fail to take the actions that produce the results. We don't get, right? We don't get our goals. What we get is what our habits produce long term. And if you don't have the mindset to connect what you want with the right habit choices, you will always struggle. It will feel like you are swimming upstream and that you just can't ever get there. And that will be very defeating, and you'll stop in the effort. So guys, let's kick things off, all right? So number one thing, let's talk about training, okay? First leg of the stool. So there's 3 areas of training I want you to think about. Number 1, okay? Most mistakes people make is they just follow I downloaded this template off Men's Health, right? Or whatever it is. Now, I've done in-depth trainings in the past. What I'm going to tell you right now is the most important thing you can understand is you want to leverage, okay, in your training, movements that unlock your body's internal hormonal release system, okay? It's kind of like saying you want to be able to get your body, okay, to have premium fuel self-generated. All right? Where it's like, you don't have to go to it's like, that's what we're really talking about. Most people train in a way where it's like they're putting a fresh coat of paint on their car, right? If they're the car. The way I'm talking about training is talk about rebuilding that engine, okay? One of them makes you look good, right? The other one makes you go. Go muscles, okay? So how do we do that? Well, it comes down to understanding there's 7 primal movements, okay? We don't have to go through this super in depth. I'm not going to go down, you know, I'm going to stay kind of high level here at 10,000 feet. But if you think about it like this, there's only 7 ways your body can move and how it was designed. It's your squat, okay? It's your hinge, your deadlifts, right? It's your step up, okay? And then it's your push and pull, both in the horizontal plane and the vertical plane, right? Like bench press, dips, pull-ups, that kind of stuff. That's it. Seven patterns of movement. That's it, okay? Now, most people don't realize that. They're doing all these things. They're doing all these crazy movements they saw, you know, the winner of the CrossFit Games do, and that's going to get them ripped, okay? It's not. You've got to have a balanced program that understands that you leverage the primal movements, because those primal movements are what unlock that hormonal change where your body is now changing from the inside out, okay? Other things that are not linked to those 7 primals are just kind of like, you know, they'll give you a little pump or something, but they're not actually going to drive a result that's long and withstanding, Okay, so that's the number one thing, primal movements. Now, primal movements, let's break one of those down. For example, the squat, okay? Squatting is the staple of any program. It should be done at minimum on every Monday, start of your week, and better yet, twice a week. So what we really want is we want to take that primal movement and we want to pair with it something that supercharges that hormonal release. And that's going to be what's called CAT training. It's called compensatory accelerated training. CAT training, for the short, okay, is something that was unlocked by a guy named Dr. Squat about 30 years ago. Now, Dr. Squat was a guy at 200 pounds that squatted 1,100 pounds, okay? So you can just chew on that while I tell you, he knows what he's talking about. CAT training, see, most guys, they like to go in and they like to, you know, if you've ever done a squat, it's like you go down and on the way up, you hit that sticking point where it's like hard to break through, right? Most guys hit that point and that's when they try to accelerate. And then after they break through that sticking point, they kind of slow down and finish the lift, you know, lazily. His key with CAT training is you want to lift as fast as you can from the bottom up without ever coming off the gas pedal, okay? What that does is it's almost like you're getting 5 workout sessions in one because you are maximizing your rate of force development. Long way of saying you're training to be faster, okay? And when your body realizes that you're trying to go faster, it opens up new pathways and possibilities for your muscles to grow. That's what I'm going to tell you. I'm not going to get any crazier than that. I know it's a big in-depth thing. If you have any questions, comment below. But guys, matching a primal movement with CAT training is the absolute key to unlocking your performance, unlocking your potential, and giving your body a reason to grow in all the right ways, okay? Now, the second piece with that, and we've done a training on this in the past, but just to remind you guys, you want to also balance those primal movements, right, with both volume and intensity, okay? Volume is like, hey, I'm going to do my squats, right? Let's talk about squats. Today, I'm going to do 5 sets of 10, right? That's 10 reps. That's a lot of reps, right? And I'm going to do it 4 more times after that first set, okay? That's volume. That's getting a lot of work in. But you also want to pair it with intensity, right? Intensity would be like short reps that you go for higher amounts of weight, all right? Which is going to be like, hey, I'm going to today go into the gym and I'm going to try to find the heaviest 3 reps I can do on my back squat, and then I'm done for the day, okay? That's the difference. You want to balance volume and intensity. You want to use primal movements, and you want to move the bar fast as you can. Got it? Good. Hashtag primal if that makes sense, okay? Comment below. I'm looking at you. Comment below. Now, the second thing, though, this is where most people get screwed up in their training, is they think they're done, right? You're not done. There's 2 things, okay, that 2 more things we're going to talk about with your training aspect. Number 1 is you have to find a way to, once you've created that hormonal change, that internal drive for your body to start to change, you've got to drive it to all of your body, okay? Because with a squat, yeah, it's going to be used a lot in your legs, it's going to be used in your trunk, but we want to then capture what's already in our blood flow, this elevated hormonal change, and you want to drive it into your accessory, your limbs, right? You want to drive it into your calves. You want to drive it into your hamstrings. You want to drive it into your biceps, your forearms. So where most people fail is they just do their primal movement, and even if they're doing it, they're not doing CAT, and even if they're doing CAT, they're not balancing volume and intensity, which you got to have all that. But then you also want to do movements afterwards that are complementary to it. So if I just did, let's say, my intensity squat, I found a heavy 3. What I want to do after that is I'm going to go ahead and grab some lighter dumbbells, and now I'm going to do some hack squats, right? Some quarter squats to drive blood into my quads to give it that pump, right? But it's not just a pump. It's not like a normal bodybuilder's pump, because now I'm driving that hormonal change from the big movement into my legs. And what that really means to you guys is you can have a bodybuilder's physique and the strength of an athlete. That's how cool that is, okay? And it's very functional, right? Because now bigger quads are going to support a better back squat the next time I come around. Does that make sense, you guys? I hope it does, all right? Now, the last piece with training, once you've understood that we have this big strength component, we're using CAT training, and we're also balancing volume and intensity. We're pairing that with a complementary sort of pump sesh afterwards, right? The next piece then, guys, is you then have to condition, okay? Now, conditioning, because it's strength and conditioning. Conditioning, or as I call condo, right, is really the window that allows you to have accelerated adaptation. What do I mean by that? I mean that through conditioning, You actually, because you are driving your body through this sort of flush out, you are accelerating the recovery process earlier than it would on its own. So we want to use conditioning in a smart way to maximize the strength gains and the ability to get that big pump. And we want to do it smart so that it drives our adaptation, right? We got to stress to progress, but we don't want it to be so much that it starts becoming deleterious, right? It starts removing muscle from the body and taking its toll from us because we want to stay powerful. So what I did is all of my conditioning, here's my rules. It's 15 minutes or less, okay? We're going to use those primal movements, all right? We're going to have violent hip extension. Go ahead, side note, where in life do you think violent hip extension could come in handy? Okay, 15 minutes or less, violent hip extension. It's got to be multi-planar. What I mean by that is you think about a running back, running down the field, his hips and feet are running on the sideline, running forward, his trunk turns, and he goes and he looks back and he reaches up, he catches that football, he pulls it in, makes a touchdown, right? Multi-planar, he's moving in several directions at once, okay? We want you to train like that as well, okay? That's what I did here. Last piece, it's got to be heavy, hard, fast, okay? Don't lift weights like old people fuck. Pardon my language, but seriously. You train fast, you're going to be fast. If you train slow, you're going to be slow. So we want all of our training to be 15 minutes or less, multi-planar. We want to have it be violent hip extension, and we also want it to be heavy, hard, and fast, okay? You follow those 4 rules, you're going to obliterate anybody else you see, okay? So that's the first part. Now, that is the training component, all right? Now, if you learned anything in there, if any of that was helpful to you at all, I want you to put #value in the comments. #value. Guys, I need to know if this is actually helping you or if it's just confusing the shit out of you. So let me know in the comments. If you're confused as shit, if you're like, Kyle, you lost me at whatever, let me know, because I need this to help you guys, not just be information talked at you. Got it? So give me some feedback here. #value if that's good. So that's the training component, okay? Next piece, nutrition, all right, where most guys screw up. First of all, restrictive diets don't work long term. Why? Because anything that you are told you can't have, your subconscious will focus on and want more, okay? End of story. So how do we do it? The first thing I want you to understand about nutrition is that it's all about getting you guys stronger, more powerful, faster. So what I know about nutrition and what I use for myself is I had to make sure that number 1 was gut health, okay? Gut health is number 1. Gut health is the window to your immune system, okay? And your immune system is what drives all of your recovery, okay? Which makes you stronger, because every time you step foot in the gym, you get worse. Every time you recover, you get better. All right. So again, gut health is equal to your immune system, is equal to your ability to recover faster. Okay. So we've got to make sure that what we're eating aligns with that principle. So what we do, guys, is there's really just 3 things you got to know. Number 1, nutrient density. What's that mean? It means eat real food, right? Did it have a face, a soul, or a mother? Then go ahead and eat it. All right. Flesh builds flesh like iron sharpens iron. You've got to know that. All right. So nutrient density, real food, meat, fish, fowl, eggs, that kind of stuff, all the roots and tubers you want, right? Greens, that kind of stuff. Those are what's good for you. Can you kill it? Can you pluck it, right? Can you dig it out of the ground? Those are the things we want to eat. So that's nutrient density. Number 2 is, because we know that we need to keep our gut health high, it has to have non-inflammatory aspects to it. So if I, for example, have some sort of weird allergy. Let's say I have an allergy to, I don't know, eggplant, right? Like nightshades, okay? If I'm eating eggplants, even though it's a good vegetable, right? It could be irritating my gut and allowing me or disallowing me to recover faster. So you want to make sure that the things you are eating, guys, are good for you and that you don't have some weird response to it as a person. This is why nutrition is hard. It's so individualistic, right? So for me, I just eat things like I told you that were, I can eat pretty much anything. I just can't do gluten. That's me. So I don't eat bread. I've had clients in the past that can. So sure, go ahead. Eat bread if you want, right? But it's individualistic, and a coach can help you understand that. I can help you understand. If you ever have a question, hit me up offline. All right. So it's got to be non-inflammatory. Things that are inflammatory, things that have sugar, things that are processed, right, or heavily processed, anything in that category, guys, is probably going to screw up your recovery efforts and, in fact, get in the way of making progress. So you want to be aware of eating only non-inflammatory foods, okay? And then the last piece, after we've already covered now nutrient density and non-inflammatory, is balance. So so many questions come to me about, hey, like, what's the best, how much protein should I eat? How much carbs should I eat? Should I do keto? Should I do it? Like, it doesn't matter, okay? If you're just starting out, you want to eat balanced, which means you're going to have a third of your food come from protein, a third of your food come from carbohydrates, and a third of your food come from fat, all right? If you can do that, you're going to crush it. And the simplest way, if you want the 10-second rule on how to work with carbs, eat them around your training window. So eat them before you train and after you train, and keep the rest of it most protein and fats, okay? That's what I did. And if you are on a plan like I am, where I want to lose weight, right? The way to get lean is you take your body weight, you multiply it by 12 to 14 calories, okay? And then that's what you eat. So for me, I started at 14 calories. I was 220 when I started, times 14. And then every week, I dropped it down. So I went from 14 calories to 13 to 12, right? And that's where I finished, okay? And so I'm hitting a caloric intake, a number of calories are coming into my body with those types of foods in that split, balanced split, okay? That's what allowed my body to be consistent in letting weight go, all right? The big mistake people make is they're just not consistent, they don't eat balanced, and they don't eat foods that are nutrient dense or they have inflammatory properties to them, okay? So that's what I did. And at the end of the day, the most important thing is that you are consistent with that intake. So for example, if you are 200 pounds, right, and you want to lose weight, you're going to hit, let's say you go to 12 calories, okay? That's your intake for the day. So 205 times 12, which means you're going to be eating somewhere around 800 calories a day. If you can be consistent, even within 100 to 200 calories, like if you're up or you're over by 200 or you're under by 200, just kind of be in that window. If you can be consistent for 30 days, the weight's going to just fly off, okay? But you've got to be consistent. You can download a free app like MyFitnessPal, help you track. If you have questions, let me know. I can help you with that. But guys, that is the key, okay? Last thing, I'm going to be late here. Mindset, okay? Mindset is key. So if you're doing the nutrition, if you're doing the training, okay, but you lack the mindset, you will not be able to stay connected to the goal long enough to achieve it. So the number one mindset tip I have to give you guys on this, okay, and this is a truly transformational tip, is you have to be able to focus on the process while living and visualizing in the outcome. That means that you are focused on what's in front of you in your training each day. You are taking the right action. You are doing the work that's in front of you. And no matter how it goes, you are going to be certain that you are still going to get the outcome. Okay? That's number one. That's linked to the second piece. For that to work, you have to believe that your effort and your energy applied will be rewarded. You have to truly believe that what you put in, you will get back. Okay? And number three, you've got to understand that a lack of accountability leads directly to weakness and failure. A lack of accountability leads directly to weakness and failure. What do I mean by that? If you say you want something, but you allow yourself an exit when it gets hard, you will never get there. If you want something, then you have to make it known to yourself and you have to put some skin in the game. Whether that be with a friend, whether that be with a coach, whether that be with a group of people, doesn't matter. If you lack someone being able to turn to you and saying, hey, did you do the thing you said you were going to do, the way you said you were going to do it, in the time you said you were going to do it, if you cannot hold yourself to that standard, first and foremost for yourself, but then also have other people do that for you, you will never reach your goal. It allows for weakness to enter because when you are tired, it's 4 a.m., the alarm goes off, it's cold, it's raining, it's snowing, kids are screaming in the background, doesn't matter. If you do not have that accountability, the pain of life will get you off track and you will not reach your goal. So those are the three mindset pieces, guys, all right? I hope this video was incredibly valuable for you. I put a lot into it, I know. Go back, watch it again. Hashtag value if it was awesome. Okay, hashtag awesome if it was awesome. Reach out to me privately with any questions. And if you know anyone that needs to see this, go ahead and invite them to the group, guys. Stay tuned. I'm putting up something together here in the next month or so. Going to release a new program. It's going to help you guys with all this. And if you want any more information about that, hashtag info below. All right. Talk to you guys soon.